Have you ever felt your hands turn tight just minutes after washing, or a strange itch on your arms though you haven't changed lotion in months? The truth is, sometimes the culprit sits quietly by your sink, the bar soap you've trusted for years. It sounds absurd. A tiny bar can't be to blame for dull, irritated skin, right? But it can. Behind that creamy lather, many soaps hide harsh detergents, synthetic fragrance, and colorants that strip natural oils, dry the surface, and slowly wear down your skin's balance. The clean you feel isn't always real. It's a chemical disguise of smoothness that vanishes by night. This is just a small bar, but the sooner you look closer, the better you protect yourself. So today we'll break down 7 popular bar soaps you might want to avoid, and 2 that still deserve a place in your bathroom. Don't skip any one of them, might just change the way you take a shower. Number 1. Irish Spring. Clean shouldn't smell like cologne on your knuckles, but for millions of American bathrooms, that's exactly what Irish Spring promises and delivers. A rush of green scent, a foamy bloom of freshness, the feeling of starting the day sharp and revived. Yet for many, that same ritual leaves behind something far less pleasant: tight skin, faint itching, even flaking that sneaks in hours later. It sounds harmless. A deodorant bar simply sounds more hygienic, doesn't it? The label suggests extra protection, maybe a little more cleanliness. But the truth, as dermatologists quietly remind, is that deodorant bars like Irish Spring aren't designed for skin health, they're designed for sensory performance. Deodorant here doesn't mean medical-grade odor control, it means fragrance load. Synthetic scent compounds cling to skin so you feel fresh even while the surface barrier loses its natural oil. Irish Spring's formula leans heavily on alkaline soap base and synthetic surfactants, the very elements that create that iconic squeak when you rinse. It feels clean, but it's actually your lipid mantle, your skin's thin protective film being stripped away. That momentary dryness triggers the body to produce more oil, which feels greasy by evening, leading to another wash, and the cycle continues. Mature or dry skin, especially common in adults over 55, loses resilience faster under that routine. According to the American Academy of Dermatology, deodorant soaps with strong fragrances or antibacterial additives should be avoided by anyone with dry or sensitive skin. Fragrance is the leading cause of contact dermatitis in cosmetic cleansers, yet remains the most celebrated selling point. Irish Spring's scent, bold, nostalgic, instantly recognizable, is its identity. But dermatologists see something else: volatile fragrance molecules, alkaline residue, and cumulative irritation masked under a pleasant smell. Reviews often tell a similar story. Smells amazing but makes my hands crack in winter. Feels clean but my skin burns after shaving. The brand evokes memory: father's bathrooms, road trips, the green box in every store aisle. That nostalgia keeps it alive. But the science behind it hasn't aged as gracefully. For those who simply want fresh skin, not perfumed residue, dermatologists recommend switching to a mild, fragrance-free cleansing bar, one that cleanses without rehearsing the same sting every morning. If your hands smell like a cologne ad, they're not cleaner, just better advertised. And if scent itself can fool us, what happens when soap claims to kill germs too? That's where the next bar crosses another line. Number 2. Dial antibacterial. If ordinary soap already keeps you clean, why turn your shower into a science lab? For generations, Dial has sold peace of mind, that bright yellow bar, the bold words, kills 99.99% of bacteria. It sounds powerful, even heroic. But for most people, that extra protection isn't just unnecessary, it can quietly work against your skin. The secret behind Dial's claim is a chemical called benzalkonium chloride. It's an antiseptic, the kind used in wound sprays or hospital disinfectants. When you use it once in a while, it's harmless. But when it becomes part of a daily routine, it starts to wear down something you can't see: your skin's natural balance of good bacteria and moisture. That balance is what keeps your skin soft, calm, and able to defend itself. The U.S. Food and Drug Administration already found that most antibacterial ingredients offer no real advantage over regular soap and water. They removed nearly 20 from consumer products and left a few, like benzalkonium chloride, under review. The point is simple. Those antibacterial claims sound impressive, but in everyday life they don't make you any safer. What they often do is leave your skin tighter, drier, and more sensitive. Doctors have a name for this pattern, but you can feel it without any medical term. It starts with small signs: rough hands, a little sting after rinsing a flaky patch near the wrist. That's not cleanliness. It's your skin telling you it's been scrubbed too hard too often. Ironically, that dryness can open tiny cracks, giving real germs a better chance to sneak in. Dermatologist Dr. Marisa Garshik puts it plainly. Antibacterial bars are like using antibiotics for a paper cut: effective but unnecessary. Still, people reach for them because the word antibacterial sounds responsible. It feels like protection. But skincare isn't a battle to win, it's a balance to keep. Many reviewers echo the same story. I love how clean it feels, but my hands get so dry. It smells sterile, but my skin burns in winter. These aren't mistakes, they're quiet warnings from loyal users who trusted a promise that went too far. The irony is that all soap is antibacterial by nature. Lathering and rinsing already wash away germs, no harsh chemistry needed. So instead of chasing stronger claims, choose simpler ones. Your skin doesn't need medication. Save the drugstore act for real wounds. True cleanliness is gentle, not extreme. Number 3. Zest and Coast. I love how it smells, but every time I use it, my arms get itchy at night. A short review buried deep under hundreds of 5-star ratings, but it tells the whole story. The freshness that people chase in Zest and Coast bars, that sharp oceanic punch is built on ingredients that quietly wear the skin down day after day. Inside, each bright blue or green bar sits a complex fragrance blend made from dozens of synthetic compounds, plus a splash of artificial dye to make it look cool and clean. Those colors and scents do nothing for hygiene. They exist for emotion to convince you that clean should smell like sea air and look like water. The truth is simpler and sadder. Those same additives cling to the surface, trapping a thin film of residue that your skin slowly starts to fight. At first, the irritation is invisible, a little tightness after showering, a faint dryness along the arms or neck. Then over weeks or months, the pattern deepens. The fragrance compounds penetrate the outer layer and disrupt the skin barrier, a structure built to keep moisture in and irritants out. Once that barrier weakens, the body reacts with low-grade inflammation. You don't see redness right away, but you feel its skin that used to feel smooth now tingles after hot water, sunscreen, or lotion. According to the American Academy of Dermatology, fragrance is the #1 cause of cosmetic skin irritation, and synthetic dyes often amplify the effect by lingering in the pores. These are slow problems, not dramatic, not immediate, but cumulative. For people with mature or thinning skin, the effect doubles. Less oil production means less resilience. Each scented wash pulls away a bit more of what the skin can't easily replace. Dermatologist Dr. Mona Gohara explains it plainly. That crisp, ocean-fresh smell isn't natural. It's a mix of volatile fragrance chemicals made to last. Over time, it wears down your skin's calm. The result isn't just dryness. It's what experts call scent fatigue, when the skin and senses both become overstimulated, leaving irritation that lasts long after the shower ends. There's nothing wrong with enjoying scent, but soap should cleanse, not decorate. If a bar fills your bathroom with perfume, it's doing more for the air than for you. Fragrance should lift your mood, not tire your skin, and when a scent outlasts the shower, that's when the damage begins. Number 4. Lever 2000. Hear that squeak? Lever calls it confidence. Dermatologists call it stripped skin. Lever 2000 is one of the few big soap brands that still clings to the classic old-school formula, the kind that squeaks when you rinse your hands. Many people see that sound as proof of deep cleanliness, but in truth, it's not a sign of purity. It's the sound of loss. When your skin squeaks like glass, it's telling you that its natural oils are gone. Here's the secret: Lever wants that feeling to happen. Inside each bright blue bar sits a deliberately simple recipe: sodium tallowate and sodium cocoate, high alkaline soap bases that create that super clean sensation. With a pH between 9 and 10, it's a strong, true soap, cheap to produce, long-lasting on the shelf, and stable during transport. That high alkalinity also helps the bar stay firm, bright, and easy to mold by the millions. From a business perspective, it's efficient. A classic formula means inexpensive ingredients, predictable production, and loyal consumers who don't ask for change. Because Lever isn't just selling soap, it's selling the sound of clean. That squeak has become a marketing tool, a learned reflex that's been reinforced for decades. If your skin feels tight, it must be clean. If it still feels smooth, it must still be dirty. Lever's marketing teams understood that psychology perfectly. In the commercials of the 1990s, actors rubbed their hands until the squeak echoed, a symbol of discipline and hygiene that stuck with an entire generation. But under the microscope, the story reverses. That friction comes from the removal of lipids, the skin's natural barrier, leaving it dry, fragile, and more likely to crack over time. Dermatologist Dr. Sherry Marchbein puts it simply: if your skin squeaks, that's friction, not freshness. But Lever doesn't need people to listen to doctors. They just need them to hear the bar. Because in the race between truth and habit, habit usually wins. For Lever, the squeak isn't an accident. It's an asset, a sensory cue engineered into the formula to make people trust the product more deeply. The tighter your hands feel, the cleaner you think you are. and the faster you come back for another bar. That sound isn't purity. It's marketing the soundtrack of an old formula that still profits from dry hands. Number 5. Olay Ultra Moisture. Recently, I wanted to try something new. That's why I picked up Olay's Ultra Moisture Bar, the one with shea butter, and that creamy pink swirl that looks almost edible. It promised rich moisture for lasting comfort, and for the first few minutes, it delivered. My skin felt velvety like I'd just stepped out of a spa, but by the afternoon, that comfort was gone. My arms were tight again, the same faint dryness returning under the surface. Turns out I'm not the only one. Scroll through reviews and you'll see a quiet pattern feels great at first, but leaves my skin dry later. Love the smell, but it doesn't really moisturize. Thousands of people describing the same paradox softness that doesn't last. It feels like moisture, yet the skin seems to thirst again faster each day. The secret lies in how it's made. Olay's Ultra Moisture Bar uses synthetic emollients and waxy alcohols that coat the skin to create that silky glide. It's not real nourishment, it's a surface film that tricks your touch. The moment it rinses off, the illusion breaks. Underneath, your skin hasn't been fed, it's just been sealed. At first it feels wonderful. That creamy lather makes you think you've upgraded your shower routine. But the longer you use it, the more dependent your skin becomes on that fake layer. The body stops producing as much natural oil, and what started as a moisture boost slowly turns into moisture debt. One woman wrote, "It feels so smooth right after my shower that I skip lotion. But by lunch, my hands feel papery again." Another said, "It's like makeup for the skin, beautiful at first, but temporary." They're not wrong. That soft residue is designed to sell satisfaction, to make your fingertips believe your skin has changed, when in truth, it's only wearing a disguise. There's no drama, no burning, no redness, just a quiet fatigue your skin starts to show. It's the fatigue of overpromised comfort. If the smoothness vanishes by noon, it wasn't moisture, it was marketing. Real hydration doesn't shine or slip. It settles and stays. And maybe that's the most ironic part of soap, meant to repair what others stripped away, ends up repeating the cycle, a silky mask over the same old thirst. Number 6. Safeguard. Look at this package. It's wrapped in green, printed with leaves, stamped with words like eco-friendly and clean planet. But how exactly can a chemical bar be that way? The answer, of course, is that it can't, at least not in the way we imagine. Safeguard didn't change its formula. It changed its language. The same soap base, the same perfume, the same preservatives, only now wrapped in pastel green and accompanied by a gentle promise. Biodegradable, aloe infused, kind to nature. Words that sound moral, even soothing. For a few extra cents, you're not just buying soap, you're buying peace of mind. In reality, the truth sits quietly between marketing lines. Safeguard, like many global bar producers, uses palm oil blends that come from mass-balanced supply chains, a polite term meaning mixed sources. Some sustainable, some not. It's a system built for convenience, not for conscience. A box gets ticked, a certification is printed, and the product becomes green by association. The logic is simple. Full transparency costs money. Symbolic green costs ink. Consumers, meanwhile, get to feel responsible without asking questions. The environmental cost, deforestation, displaced wildlife, river waste, stays hidden behind a leaf-shaped logo. That's the quiet success of moral marketing. You're not buying safety for your body anymore, you're buying safety for your conscience. And as long as the packaging looks gentle, few will ever suspect the supply chain isn't. Later that day, a family stands at the supermarket aisle. The mother picks up the Safeguard bar, smiles at the green wrapper, and says, "This one's eco. We should get this." The father nods, distracted by price tags. Their child traces the word aloe with a finger, imagining something natural, almost organic. It's a small moment, familiar, innocent, but it's exactly how the illusion survives. No one here is lying outright. The bar is partially biodegradable. The palm oil is partially certified. The message isn't false, just incomplete. It leaves enough truth to trust, enough silence to forget, and that's all modern branding needs. A small business soap maker once said, if a company won't tell you which farm their oil comes from, it's not green, it's just printed green. He's right. Real purity doesn't come from the color of the wrapper, it comes from the clarity of what's inside. Number 7. Dove Sensitive Skin. Of all the bars on the shelf, this one looks the safest. Plain white wrapper, words like fragrance-free, hypoallergenic, dermatologist tested. It feels like a soft landing after so many broken promises. But that's where the illusion begins. In a market that sells comfort as competition, Dove found its kingdom in the language of gentleness. While other brands shout antibacterial or deep clean, Dove whispers reassurance. Its sensitive skin bar stands for calm trust and safety, the one product that seems beyond question. For people with fragile skin or fragile confidence in the industry, that quiet voice wins. Technically, Dove's sensitive skin bar isn't even soap. It's a Syndet, a synthetic detergent blend built to be milder than traditional soap. That part is true. But mild doesn't always mean harmless. The bar still contains surfactants that create a faint residue on the skin, soft to the touch, slightly tight underneath. For many, that invisible film becomes routine, even reassuring. The chemistry is only half the story. The other half is psychology. In a world of endless labels and rising prices, most shoppers don't have the time or energy to decode ingredients. They reach for what feels safe. Dove knows that better than anyone. Safety isn't just a product feature, it's a brand fortress. Alan Jope, CEO of Unilever, once said, "A company that wants to be relevant for decades must think now about the consumer choice decisions of the future." For Dove, that future is built on loyalty through vulnerability. The customer who trusts so completely, they stop comparing. Walk down any supermarket aisle and you'll see that trust in motion, families buying the same white bar year after year, mothers choosing it for newborns, men using it because my wife says it's gentle. It's comfort passed down, not questioned. The logo itself has become shorthand for innocence, a small dove embossed on the surface wings, open almost like a promise. But behind that promise is a market that rewards repetition. Every gentle label becomes a shield against scrutiny. The more crowded the shelves grow, the more we cling to familiar names, and the more familiar names rely on that reflex. One woman in an online forum wrote, "It's the only soap that doesn't sting, so I don't dare switch." That's not loyalty, that's dependency disguised as care. And it's how a billion-dollar brand survives in a market where fear sells as well as fragrance. No one doubts Dove's sincerity. It remains one of the least aggressive brands in tone, but even sincerity can be a strategy. When safety becomes a selling point, vulnerability becomes currency. Gentle shouldn't mean dependence. It should mean freedom, the freedom to use less to heal more and to trust your own skin again. After walking through this aisle, one thing becomes clear: the problem was never soap itself. It's the system around it, the noise, the packaging, the words designed to comfort more than to inform. For decades, we've been told that clean needs color, perfume, softness, even morality. But maybe true cleanliness doesn't need to say a word. In small corners of the market, a quiet change is happening. Small makers are cutting through the noise, returning to simple formulas that actually respect skin, water, and truth. No dyes, no slogans, no marketing theater, just soap doing what it's supposed to do. And perhaps that's the most hopeful part of all: clean doesn't need to compete. It just needs to be honest. Now let's see which one deserves to be in every cart. Number 8, Dr. Bronner's Pure Castile. No slogans, no shimmer. Just a brown paper wrapper printed edge to edge with tiny words, part recipe, part philosophy, part prayer. That's how Dr. Bronner's Pure Castile bar greets you. It doesn't shout for attention. It simply sits there, almost old-fashioned, like something from another century that refused to modernize. After so many bars promising miracles, this one does the opposite. It underpromises. The label lists what's inside: organic coconut, olive, hemp, and jojoba oils, water, and natural fragrance from essential oils. No synthetics, no plastic coating, no unfamiliar words tucked behind commas. You can read it once and understand everything. It's an honest paragraph in a world of marketing poetry. The formula is simple, but its integrity runs deep. Each oil is certified fair trade. The coconut comes from Sri Lanka, the palm from Ghana, the olive from the West Bank. Every ingredient is traceable, every process biodegradable. The paper wrapper itself is made from 100% post-consumer recycled fibers, printed with soy ink. Even the wastewater from its factory in California is filtered and reused. When the company says all one, it isn't metaphor, it's method. Dr. Bronner's hasn't changed its philosophy since 1948, when Emanuel Bronner, a third-generation soap maker, printed his beliefs directly on the label because he couldn't afford ads. He saw soap as both livelihood and message: clean body, clean planet, clean conscience. Decades later, his family-run company still belongs to employees and foundations, not shareholders. That structure means profits don't vanish upward. They flow back into fair trade projects and regenerative farming. In a market that thrives on illusion, the consistency is radical. While other bars compete on fragrance or microcare technology, Bronner sells something far rarer: trust. Its bars don't sparkle or smell like perfume counters. They smell like real things: peppermint that clears your head, lavender that actually fades after a few minutes instead of clinging for hours. What's left afterward isn't residue or film, it's quiet skin breathing normally. Numbers tell their own story. More than 70% of its raw materials are certified organic. The company pays up to 10% premiums to farmers above world market prices. Their factory runs on 100% renewable electricity, and every employee earns a living wage with capped executive pay, a 5-to-1 ratio from worker to top salary. No glossy commercial could buy that kind of credibility. Dr. Bronner's doesn't sell aspiration. It sells responsibility. It proves that clean can be literal again. Clean ingredients, clean sourcing, clean intent. The bar doesn't hide behind color or slogan because it doesn't need to. Transparency has become its only marketing strategy, and somehow that honesty feels luxurious. Sometimes the purest clean isn't what shines, it's what stays honest. Number 9. Bert's Bees Honey. Not synthetic, not scented, just the kind that once sat on every kitchen shelf. That's how Bert's Bees Honey Bar Soap feels, warm, steady, unhurried. While so many brands chase innovation and illusion, this one keeps its pace slow, almost stubbornly human. Bert's Bees was never born in a boardroom. It began in a converted cabin in Maine in the early 1980s when a beekeeper named Bert Shavitz and an artist named Roxanne Quimby decided to turn leftover beeswax into candles and soaps. They didn't have investors' slogans or celebrity campaigns, just a simple idea: make products that work and tell the truth about what's inside. Decades later, that philosophy still defines the brand. The Honey Bar Soap is made from 99% natural ingredients, combining honey beeswax, milk, and glycerin to draw moisture instead of stripping it away. The scent isn't perfumed. It's faintly sweet, fading as quickly as warm water. The foam feels slow, almost creamy. When you rinse, nothing artificial, lingers only softness that feels earned, not engineered. Bert's Bees calls its process responsible creation. Every batch uses responsibly sourced honey and Leaping Bunny certified beeswax with more than 95% recyclable packaging. The company invests in bee preservation projects in North Carolina and California and reports annually on biodiversity programs. It's not charity, it's continuity, a recognition that the hive and the hand are part of the same circle. Then there's the price. A single bar costs around $6 to $7, roughly double the supermarket standard. But customers rarely complain. One reviewer wrote, "It doesn't just smell like honey, it feels like it." Another said, "Yes, it's expensive, but it's the first time my skin didn't need lotion afterward." For older buyers with dry or reactive skin, that comfort outweighs the cost. They're not paying for status, they're paying for trust. Unlike many natural labels that stop at marketing, Bert's Bees treats sustainability as infrastructure. Since 2008, it has carried Leaping Bunny certification, maintained a 1/3 female executive board, and publicly caps executive pay to maintain internal equity. Even now, under corporate ownership, the company keeps its rural cadence, slow production, deliberate sourcing, and packaging that feels handmade even at scale. What makes this bar special isn't just what it contains, but what it refuses to imitate. No shimmer, no exaggerated pH balance, no anti-aging pretense. Just soap done kindly. The kind that seems to belong to everyone from a child washing muddy hands to a grandparent ending a long day in warm water. Because in the end, that's what clean should mean, not a promise on a wrapper, but a practice of care. In a world built on formulas, this one still begins with kindness and ends with clean hands that remember where care came from. After all the labels, claims, and promises, maybe clean was never just about the skin. It's about the small choices that shape our days, the quiet trust we place in what touches our hands, faces, and families. From factory lines to kitchen sinks, every bar tells a story of intention. Some cut corners, others carry care. We've walked through the noisy aisle of illusion and ended here in the calm space where honesty still matters. The lesson isn't to fear, but to notice. To choose clarity over confusion, truth over fragrance, care over convenience. Because when we protect what's real, our skin, our water, our trust, we protect more than ourselves, we protect the meaning of clean itself. So the next time you pick up a bar of soap, remember purity isn't in the foam, it's in the choice you make before it touches your skin.
This video does not promote division within the United States or encourage education. All content is presented for the purpose of exploration, analysis, and fostering discussion based on current events, public sentiment, and social trends. We fully respect the United States Constitution and all federal regulations. If today's analysis made you think, drop a comment so we can keep the conversations going. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell so you will never miss our next independent deep dive.